Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lewis Hamilton, and I have the distinct privilege of serving as the Dean of the Albert Dorman Honors College here at NJIT. It's a great pleasure to see all of you here today as we celebrate the life of Dr. Albert, a Dorman Newark College Engineering class of 1945, recipient of the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa from NJIT in 1999, and the founding benefactor of the Albert Dorman Honors College. Al passed away on November 14th, 2023, and the NJIT community mourns the loss of this incredible man. And yet Al's legacy, and that of the entire Dorman family, lives on through the generations of Dorman Honor Scholars who benefit from his unparalleled generosity and unwavering dedication to academic excellence. Al's commitment to learning, which resonates profoundly within the NJIT community and beyond, has enriched the lives of countless Dorman Honor Scholars. His ability to inspire, empower, and uplift those around him spoke volumes about his character and the unique impression he left on all who crossed his path. As we enter the final few weeks of the academic year here at NJIT, we take time to come together to celebrate the extraordinary human, the loving husband and father, and the visionary leader that was Al Dorman. In doing so, I wish to extend my heartfelt thanks to Laura Dorman, Al's daughter and a member of the board of Al's daughter, and a member of the Dorman Honors College Board of Visitors. There you are, Laura, for making the trip to be with us today in person. I also wish to thank the rest of the Dorman family, including Al's wife Joan, Al's sons Richard and Ken, and their respective spouses Julie and Jennifer, Laura's husband Eric Smith, and Al and Joan's grandchildren, Josh, Emerson, and Abby, for joining us via live stream. Al believed in the power of education and was committed to ensuring that learning opportunities were accessible to all. In helping to found the Albert Dorman Honors College in 1995, he established an educational program that transforms the lives of exceptional scholars, many from underserved communities, equipping them with the tools and opportunities needed to excel in their chosen fields. Through initiatives within the Honors College and beyond, Al also fostered a culture of leadership development, instilling in our scholars the values of integrity, resilience, and social responsibility. Al wanted nothing more than for the alumni of the Dorman Honors College to carry forward the torch of service to others. This commitment was rooted in his desire to make the world a better place, a guiding principle that informed his actions and decisions. Whether through his involvement in philanthropy, his leadership in academia, or his advocacy for social causes, he demonstrated a deep-seated belief in the importance of using one's resources and influence for the betterment of humanity. He would be proud today to learn that the Honors College was initiated almost 30 years ago and now serves a community of more than 600 scholars. And NJIT's recently launched 2030 strategic plan identifies the doubling of the Dorman Honors College as a critical component of the university's growth in the future. While Al may no longer be with us, the mission of the Dorman Honors College remains the same: to encourage its scholars to think critically and provide an education that helps them develop an understanding of the world and their place in it through experiential learning and service to others. Today, we honor not only his memory, but also those values he held so very dear. To start our program, it is now my pleasure to introduce NJIT's president, Dr. Tek-C Lim. As our university's 9th president, Dr. Lim leads one of this nation's most diverse, innovative, and entrepreneurial universities, a university that, as countless rankings have demonstrated in recent years, continues to serve as a launching pad for talented and determined students who arrive at our university with exceptional potential and graduate exceedingly well prepared to excel, to contribute, and to lead to the STEM-dependent economy of the 21st century. Dr. Lim is the first Asian American to serve as NJIT's president, and he began his tenure in July of 2022 after serving as interim president at the University of Texas at Arlington. Esteemed alumni and benefactors, students and friends, and members of the Dorman family, please join me in welcoming to the podium President Tek-C Lim.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And I thank all of you for taking the time to be with us here to celebrate the life of Albert Dorman, as well as his many, many investments of time, talent, and treasure, as we always say, that ensure that the Albert Dorman's Honors College remains one of the nation's premier destinations for exceptionally talented undergraduate for many, many, many more years to come. In recognition, those who were inspired by Albert Dorman's extraordinary commitment to NJIT, I am especially delighted to welcome members of the Albert Dorman Honors College Board of Visitors. If you're a Board of Visitors, raise your hand. Thank you for coming. Thank you. And representatives from both our University Board of Trustees. If anyone here, Board of Trustees? Thank you. And NJIT Foundation Board of Directors. Thank you for joining us today. So, to build on what Dean Hamilton said a few moments ago, Albert Dorman embodied the best of what NJIT strives to develop in all those who choose to study here. As a tireless advocate and supporter of his alma mater, he made it possible for countless generations of our brightest and the most talented undergraduates, and many of them who are here were undergraduate. I see Trustee Durash here. And our talented undergraduates are aptly named Dorman Honors Scholars to follow his very footsteps. In this regard, the Honors College will stand as an enduring tribute to his many, many professional achievements and his steadfast dedication to education, to our university community, and to society as a whole. You know, Al was a titan in the engineering world. I'm an engineer, so I know that. I'm only a little mouse. A brilliant thinker whose ingenuity and foresight propelled him to lead one of the nation's most revered engineering firms. You know that he first served his country as a member of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Within 10 years of his graduation, he became the civil engineer of record for Disneyland. I've been there many times. It's a marvel. Okay. In 1954, he then founded his own civil engineering firm and went on to become the founding chair and CEO of AECOM, a global infrastructure consulting company with over 50,000 employees. I know I won't be able to grow NJIT to that level, okay? More than $13 billion in revenues and ranked consistently among the best places to work in the nation. If you think about that, it's phenomenal. Usually, when it's big, it's very difficult to attach quality. But he is big and has tremendous quality. That's a tribute to Al's contribution. Al was also the author of over 20 scientific papers. Now, I've written a number of papers. That is not easy. I don't know how does it. Runs a firm with 50,000 employees and still be able to write 20 scientific papers. A member of the National Academy of Engineering. You know, engineers usually don't earn a Nobel Prize. I haven't seen one yet, right? So the National Academy of Engineering attainment is the Nobel Prize for engineers. So in my books, Al earned the Nobel Prize for engineers. He's also a fellow of the American Institute of Architecture and an honorary member of the American Society of Civil Engineers. Al, together with his loving wife of more than 70 years, Joanne, was staunchly committed to the idea of giving back more than one receives. 70 years. Incredible. Honey, how long have you been married? 37. So I'm only about halfway there. Oh, by the way, in case you don't know, the love of my life, Gina, your first lady, she's here. So as a benefactor, Al collaborated with the college bearing his name to establish scholarships, undergraduate awards, faculty fellowships, and educational funds geared towards promoting STEM education and nurturing student leadership. For this reason, I'm so pleased to see that we have numerous honor scholars here today, as I mentioned, who have benefited directly from Dorman family's exemplary philanthropic support. If you have benefited, if you feel that's the case, raise your hand. We want to acknowledge you. Well, thank you so much for living up to Al's expectation. I know you all did really, really well. As students here, I checked your grades before I came. As a devoted father and husband, Al found great joy in witnessing his children and grandchildren adopt his ethos of philanthropy. We have one of his children here, Laura Dorman. Okay, not a child anymore, but we still call you children. That's what my mom and dad told me. He says, I don't care how old you are, you're still my children. So, Laura, thanks for joining us today. As valued friends of NJIT, the Dorman family's involvement in the life of the Honors College and dedication to the success of its scholars has been nothing less than transformative. I know one person that knows it really, really well because he was the inaugural dean of the Honors College, former president, current president emeritus Joe Bloom, who's here with us today. And his, can I say it's the love of his life? Okay, Diane, thank you for coming. So Al's daughter, Laura, who is here with us today, is an active member of the Albert Dorman Honors College Board of Visitors. And she exemplifies the family's ongoing commitment to the college's mission and values. Laura, thanks for coming. And again, thanks for carrying the legacy of your father and for your contribution to this institution. So along with his brothers, Richard and Ken, and actually Richard gave me a wonderful phone call. He wasn't able to join, but I know he's here in spirit and probably watching me online. Richard and Ken, along with Richard and Ken, Laura helped to establish the Joanne and Albert Dorman Community Education Fund, which provides funding for Newark-focused community service projects designed and led by honor scholars. This is part of our giving back to the community that Dean Hamilton spoke about often. Embracing Al's commitment to helping others, this fund serves as a shining example of the profound effect one family can have on the lives of so many others. Laura, on behalf of the entire NJIT community, I thank you and your entire family for your continued support and leadership. Thank you. Together, as a community, we will strive to uphold your father's legacy. In doing so, we strengthen our institution and reaffirm our shared commitment to fostering growth, innovation, and positive change. Innovation is so key. And some of you knew and have heard about me talking the last week or so. The new strategic plan, or the evolved strategic plan from the 2025 one, Strategic Plan 2030, is to become the nexus of innovation. Innovation is our strategic plan. And in no small part, Al, I believe, foresee that at some point in time, innovation is our strategic plan because he's such an innovative individual and such creativity that he brought to this campus. Again, thank you, Laura. Thank you enough. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed for the rest of today's, and I look forward to more engagement with you after this event. Thank you.
Thank you, President Lim. I'm now pleased to invite President Emeritus, or as I prefer to call him, Dean Joel Bloom, to the podium. Dr. Bloom has been a member of the NJIT community for more than 30 years. joining in 1990 as Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs and Student Services, continuing through his historic role as the founding dean of the Albert Dorman Honors College. And there's only ever one founding dean, and culminating with his exemplary and visionary service as the 8th president of NJIT until his retirement in 2022. President Emeritus Bloom and his wife, Dr. Diane Bloom, have been close friends of Al and Joan and the entire Dorman family for 3 decades. We're so pleased to have them here with us today. Dr. Bloom.
You know, we count a lot at this university. After all, mathematical sciences is one of our strengths. So thank you, third dean and 9th president. Actually, you know, we're married the same number of years, 37. What are we celebrating? Diane also remembered to carry my speech, and it's a good thing. Although I'll probably use the teleprompter. Well, are we 37 this coming September? Oh. No, I got it right, Tech. I got it right. September 6th. Right? Did I get it right? I walked in. Okay, I guess it's not September 6th. Moving, thank you, next topic. So, first of all, to Joan and the Dorman family, watching on live stream, it couldn't be a prouder moment to recite some of what we all know about Al, and I'm going to steal some of President Lim's comments as well. Because there's never enough time, there are never enough words, enough tributes to celebrate the remarkable Al Dorman life. He was the personification, the epitome of words we often recite, and one of the legacies I left for President Lim is the recitation of giving of his time, treasury, and amazing talent. There was so much intellect in the Dorman family, and I'll talk about some of Joan's intellect as well. Al often recited to me and reminded me, I'm going to tell one small story. I may tell several small stories, but at least I'll start with one. He would tell me that the lifelong commitment that he made upon coming to NJIT was to make the world a better place. And if you think about what President Lim has said and what I'll add to, while he was here in his youth, graduating NJIT at 18 years of age, by the way, 18. The only other person who I know who graduated 18 is my older sister, who happens to be a Mensa person, and I had to follow her through all of school. It was her school, anyway. But I chose a different college than she went. While he was here in his graduating class, he was the valedictorian. He was the nucleus editor. He worked on what was a student newspaper at the time and served the class of 1945, always raising the expectations. We've met a couple of alums who were here with him, and they always talked about how Al would challenge that class. At 28 years of age, as President Lim has said, Al is the engineer of record for Disneyland. And to quote Al in telling me that story, he worked day and night, 7 days a week until the park opened. And then he didn't visit it for about a decade. He never wanted. I don't have that quite sentiment about NJIT, even though we worked those hours at one time. He was the creator, as President Lim has already said, of one of the largest engineering design firms in the world. And that's where I had the first opportunity to meet him. And over the years, there have been other AECOM, NJIT alums here. I won't give them up. One in particular said, when Al walked the floors of AECOM, not only would the floors shake, the giant he was, but the people did as well. So an amazing company, as you heard, tens of thousands of employees, revenues in the multiple billions, worked in over 150 countries. And by the way, AECOM is the designer and engineer, I got that right, Lenny, right, of our WEC. So it was a privilege in those later years to talk with Al about that project as it was coming out of the ground. And where's Andrew? I saw it. Oh, and Andrew, and I would, so whenever there was an error, and there were a couple, this is engineering, value, I won't go into that, right? I would kind of shoot Al a brief note. By the way, that didn't work, but we were having fun about it as well. He was an advisor to world leaders. Closer to home, Al was a mentor, at least to my count, Laura may check me on this, for at least 5 university presidents. The president at USC, the president at Claremont, where we'll talk about a very renowned institute there, Harvey Mudd, and 2 presidents here at NJIT. Obviously, Saul K. Fenster, who along with Al was the visionaries of the Honors College. And I had the pleasure of finishing my presidency with Al and I still having that occasional Sunday call, and he challenged me still to exceed. The Honors College, in my opinion, of course, is one of the most transformative things that occurred here at NJIT. It started with a little over 20 students. As you heard from the dean, we're now over 600. The intellect, the intelligence that those students bring here, and many of them are alums here, sitting here, it's just exceeded the experiences we had prior to the establishment of the Honors College. And not only did it attract students, faculty came to also participate and teach Honors College students. And then the numerous awards, national and international awards, that the students have won here at NJIT, representing NJIT as not only a national university, but as an international university. So at my initial meeting, I can't talk about the martini. It's probably not right, and I don't want to upset Joan or Laura. But I was interviewed. We went out to Santa Monica. I was a vice president here at the time. Oh, yes, I will tell that story. I was a vice president at the time, and we were meeting at Saul Fenster and his wife Bobby were with us. Diane wasn't with me, and some of those fundraising people were with me. We walk into a hotel looking at Santa Monica Pier, and Al takes me by the shoulder or sleeve or whatever. Al is, to this day, for those of you, when he shook your hand, you remembered him shake. He had an amazingly strong handshake. So he shook my hand and dragged me over to another part of the lounge we were at, and he ordered a martini. My kind of guy. But I said, well, you know, he's here to interview me, to be the dean. I said, I don't know if I should have a martini, but then he orders a martini. I will not go into the ordering of his martini. Mine takes about 2 or 3 minutes. His is about 10 minutes, about the specificity. Al, every bartender who knew Al knew he was an engineer. He would order by percents of X, Y, and Z. And so that was my introduction and many years of most enjoyable beverages with Al and Joan Dorman. When the board would meet, the Board of Visitors, and thank each and every one of you serving on the board, we have 2, I was going to say famous and infamous chairs here with us. Dick Sweeney was a chair of the Board of Visitors, and Richard Chatsberg's here as a member of the Board of Visitors. And I know the president mentioned Daraj. Daraj is the first Honors College alum to also be a trustee of this university. So I'm very proud of that, Daraj. Thank you, and thank you for your service. So twice a year, there were board meetings of the Board of Visitors. In the fall, there was always this round table discussion where the Honors College students, outstanding students, would get to engage with our outstanding board members. And at the end of that 90-minute, 120-minute session, Al and Joan would always get up and go to the back of the room by the exit of where the students were going to leave. And they stood there and whispered or spoke advice to every one of the individual students who were in that room. Al and Joan did that into their 90s. They flew from Los Angeles to Newark, New Jersey, just to participate in that event. And I know how they counseled so many of the board members. And there's one special board member. He was the founding board member of the Board of Visitors. I see him sitting over there. And his name, along with his wife's, Barbara, his name is on our School of, our College of Architecture and Design. I must thank Bob Hillier, who, Bob, you don't mind if I tell it, every fall, Bob would come, and I know Andrew didn't always like this, but he would advise me on what we should work next on making the campus more beautiful. And there are pieces of this campus, while his name may be only on the architecture building, there are pieces of this campus that we should put his name on. One in particular I have the most fun with, in front of you know where the old garage is for NJIT, and it empties out, it's supposed to empty out on MLK, another little design issue we had here. Well, the city would never let us open those gates, and they get dirty, and they were ugly to look at as you drove down MLK. So one year I spoke first. I said, Bob, these gates are atrocious to look at. I even get complaints from our neighbors, Rutgers, across the street. What do we do about this? He said, I have a solution. So if you drive on Martin Luther King Boulevard, and you look at the gates that would empty out onto MLK, that is a Bob Hillier design. So I won't tell you what it is. You have an assignment to go there and look at that. And and every year when these things didn't look quite right, my dear colleague over there would get a call, and I'd say, Andrew, this doesn't look right. You have to get it spruced up again. I don't want to go on length about that. But Joan, as you heard, we spent a lot of time and much opportunity, and looking forward to hopefully getting back there next June, I think, meeting and spending time and dining around Santa Monica or in Los Angeles with Al and Joan Dorman. And we even attended one of his big bash birthday parties that his sister threw, and met the extended Dorman family, who we've just had a joy in getting to know. But Joan, you know, behind every okay guy, there's a much better woman. Right, Gina? Yes, thank you. Amen. I can go around the room and get that same answer, by the way. So, meeting Joan over the years, I realized what a critical role she had and continue to have in Al's consuming devotion to the Honors College, just absolutely consuming devotion. Because she would say things to me that I heard from him. Now, I don't believe he practiced his speeches with her that he gave me on those occasional Sunday calls, but I knew that he thought some of this through with Joan. And Joan's commitment to our students here, to many of you who are here today, current students and alums, the Dorman family, still you are probably as close as some of their relatives, even if they do and don't know you, because of the commitment they and the family have made and the commitment you have made in coming here. So just an absolutely loving couple, as President Lim has already said, and among our dearest friends. Last story, I think. So, you know, we know about Sandy Storm, and we were affected, my wife and I, Diane, travel companion and otherwise companion. We were affected by the Sandy Storm, and we had to figure out what we were going to do with our house. There was a little water in it. And there was no connectivity for about a week to 10 days for those of you. Some of you in this room may not even know what the Sandy Storm is, but some of us know it vividly. So we had to make a decision about our house, and finally connectivity comes back on, and one of the first calls, it was a little strange time because it was an LA call from Al and Joan, was what could we do to help you? And they did help. I mean, you know, one of the first calls, Diane and I were just absolutely blown away. So for all that, Al, that you've done, and Joan that you've done, and the Dorman family, and the legacy of the Albert Dorman Honors College. And let me also take a moment, and I can find my other note here, in thanking, because he has added significantly to the Dorman Honors College. So you may see now the name, not only the Albert Dorman on the Honors College, but you also see for the residence component, John Martinson. So thank you for that, John, and your support. So the legacy, and Al, I read this in interviews, he said this to me a number of times, but I also read it in interviews. He recites the following. They ask him, what is your greatest achievement? And you can read this at USC. There was an article about him. He stated this exact same thing he said to me for years. And what he said is the greatest achievement of his career was the Albert Dorman Honors College. So I leave you with that thought. I leave you with the continued help in working with the dean and the president to continue this amazing honors college, its student, its board of visitors, and so many of you who have contributed to it as well. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye now.
Thank you, President Bloom. You invoked the martinis, so I remember receiving, my wife Lydia and I receiving those martinis, and I was filled with trepidation thinking about the driveway that I had to manage to navigate down. Lydia, June 11th, 2000. Lydia was smitten, thank you, President Bloom. I'm now pleased to invite our Dorman Honors Scholar, Aliza Mujahideen, to the stage to share a few words on how her academic experience has been shaped by Dr. Dorman and the Albert Dorman Honors College. Aliza is a junior majoring in biomedical engineering, a research assistant with the university's Buffone Cellular Motion Laboratory, and a member of the National Academy of Inventors and NJIT's chapter of the Society of Women Engineers. Over the last winter break, she represented the Albert Dorman Honors College as a Chinese language student at Taipei Tech in Taiwan. Aliza.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aliza Mujahid, and I'm a proud recipient of the Dorman's Family 88C Dean Scholarship. This scholarship bestowed upon me by the Albert Dorman Honors College has been a catalyst for my personal growth and transformation. It has not only allowed me to pursue my passion for learning, but also to connect with like-minded peers. This invaluable support from advisors and friends has enabled me to seize opportunities, including a transformative study abroad experience from Taiwan to Italy, which has broadened my cultural horizons. These experiences, all made possible by my scholarship, have shaped me into a person I am today. Beyond my academics, I have immersed myself in various roles, from serving as a student ambassador to leading community outreach initiatives. In this connection, I also want to acknowledge what Dr. Dorman, whose incredible life we're celebrating today, made possible for me and for my fellow Dorman scholars. His foresight in establishing the Albert Dorman Honors College has enabled me and my classmates for long-lasting friendships, opportunities, and grow into a consensuous members of our community thanks to the supportive environment of the Dorman's Honors College, a place I'm proud to call as my second home. In Dr. Dorman's 1945 letter as the editor of Newark College of Engineering's yearbook, The Nucleus, he reflects on his approaching graduation day by stating, "A labor of love has been completed. This sentiment, however, was not a mere phrase for Dr. Dorman. His dedication was not a fleeting act, but a lifelong commitment that he willingly and enthusiastically continued, and always serving for a greater good. His words from 1945, still relevant today, stand as a testament to his selflessness and inspires all to do greater good for our community. As he states, more than ever before, we became world conscious, conscious that the problem of one nation or one race are the problem of all the nations and all races, conscious that the folks of other lands are, after all, basically similar to the folks who dwell within our borders, similar in respect of fear and hope. Like few before us, our responsibility has been broadened to include not only our country, but the community of nations as well. When Albert Dorman Honors College was established in 1995, Dr. Dorman shared his insight and wealth of experience with scholars like me. He reflected on his involvement in monumental projects around the world, such as developing a mass transit system in Baltimore and Los Angeles, conducting transmigration studies in Indonesia, constructing farm-to-market roads in Central Africa, and participating waste cleanup efforts in Antarctica. These experiences he shared shaped him profoundly. He emphasized that our own life experience, no matter how small they are, help us to empower, to shape us and our community profoundly. I want to close by sharing a few more words of Dr. Dorman's words from the dedication of Albert Dorman Honors College nearly 30 years ago. Learn, and more importantly, practice skills of synthesis. Learn to manage controversy so that it may lead to consensus. Learn to meld strongly, held differing opinions into an action plan for the common good. Recognize our differences, but emphasize our similarities. Pay homage to our different beginnings, but concentrate on our preferred common ending. I want to challenge all of you to become committed, to augment your technical skills with other skills, to make a lifelong duty to help define and achieve important social as well as scientific goals, and to help inform the non-scientific segment of the body politic. I want to challenge all of you, regardless of the career you choose, to become unifiers. Together we ensure that we follow Dr. Dorman's outline for a holistic approach to leadership and collaboration by emphasizing the importance of integrating diverse perspective and working towards common goal for the benefit of the society. As the recipient of Dorman's Family 88C Dean Scholarship, I have access to pivotal experiences that have significantly broadened my perspective. This funding has not only facilitated my academic achievements, but has also deepened my understanding of diverse beliefs and ideas. It has encouraged me to adopt a more empathetic approach, placing myself in someone else's shoe and viewing the world from their vantage point. Reflecting on my growth from my first year to now, my mindset has profoundly changed, enriching my appreciation of life and human connections. The Dorman's Family Scholarship didn't just support my education financially. It also invested in my growth as a global citizen, equipped to understand and contribute meaningful to the world around me. Thank you.
Thank you, Eliza. I began by saying that it's my privilege to serve as Dean of the Albert Dorman Honors College. But when you get the chance to meet scholars like Eliza, you realize that I get to work with scholars like that, I get to teach scholars like that, I get to lead and learn from scholars like that every day. And so that's why the Dorman family has my great debt of gratitude. So thank you, Eliza, for speaking today on behalf of the Dorman Honors Scholars. It is now my pleasure to welcome Laura Dorman, Al's daughter, to the podium. Laura is a member of the Albert Dorman Honors College Board of Visitors. With a diverse background spanning government service, private practice, academia, and corporate counsel roles, Laura currently holds the position of Managing Director and Associate General Counsel at Berkeley Research Group, a global consulting firm located in Emeryville, California. Proficient in all facets of litigation, including trial, mediation, and arbitration, Laura's expertise is widely recognized. In 2017, she was honored with the Association of Corporate Counsels ACC Advocacy Award, acknowledging her exceptional leadership and service to the in-house counsel community. Laura.
Thank you. I don't like hearing my resume compared to my father's. You all have stolen a lot of my thunder and talked about my dad. But I first want to say that my entire extended family sends out thanks to you for celebrating my father's legacy. My mother, Joan, my brothers, Ken and his wife, Jennifer, my brother, Richard, and his wife, Julie, my husband, Eric, the 3 grandchildren, Josh, Emerson, and Abby, and my father's sister, Barbara Boyle, and her family, David, Lisa, Lily, and Jake. We are a very close-knit family, and everyone wanted to be here, but the Dormans are here, there, and everywhere at all times, and I'm the only one that got the honor of coming, so thank you all. All of us know how much the Dorman Honors College meant to Dad, and all of us know how much you meant to him. We are grateful for your friendship and the commitment you have shown to the Dorman Honors College over the years. I'm particularly sorry that my mother did not feel able to make the trip to the East Coast. She and my father were married for 73 years. They got married in 1950, and she worked with him every step of the way. She was an equal contributor in many ways to my father's successes and to the growth and success of the Dorman Honors College. He couldn't have done what he did without her love and support. So please join me in thanking Joan Dorman. Many of you have engaged with my father at different times of his and your lives. You knew how hardworking and smart he was, brilliant even, and how much integrity he had. Just as important, what a valuable friend or mentor he could be. And you've heard about some of the people he mentored. He was a great problem solver, and he empowered many people who crossed his path. I haven't yet heard from anyone who was left worse off from knowing or working with Dad. It's possible that the 3 of us kids who were not math geniuses and were helped in our homework by Dad may have been left worse off in our relationship to math. Those sessions always ended in major frustration from my father and tears from the children. And none of us went into mathematics or STEM, you should know. But everyone else was positively affected by him, and I can't think of a better legacy that he could have had. You also may know of some of the many institutions and organizations in which he assumed a leadership role. You've heard of 2 or 3 of them. I assure you the list is very, very long. I'm not going to take the time to recite the honors because it is too long a list. But suffice it to say, he was widely recognized as one of the outstanding engineers in the country. He had a chapter in a book called Engineering Legends that was written about him. But the honors and recognition he received came not only from many professional organizations, but also from the communities in which he worked, because he made those communities better. Dad met mayors, county supervisors, governors, congresspeople and senators, presidents, the Pope, prime ministers, and probably a king or 2 along the way, and he was deeply involved in a variety of educational, research, cultural, and nonprofit organizations. All were affected to the good by my parents' generosity and time. On a more personal note, Dad worked very, very hard all his life. My memories of him growing up in Hanford, which is where he moved after a brief stint in Los Angeles, was him coming home for dinner at 6 to be with the family and then going back to work till midnight. And that was pretty much a 7-day-a-week affair. He still managed to be a very involved and wonderful father. But he did grow up poor during the Depression, the son of immigrants who had not been able to go to college. Luckily, his intellect was evidenced at a very early age, and there was no doubt in anyone's mind that Dad would achieve. My mother, who married Dad in 1950, as I said, shared in that certainty. And the combination of Dad's personality, his brilliance, and his work ethic augured a great future. But here was the catch. The only way Albert Dorman, valedictorian of his high school class and apparently the highest testing in the state, could attend college was if he received financial aid to supplement what he could earn working while he was at school and living at home to save money. The Newark College of Engineering, or possibly other benefactors about whom I don't know, stepped forward to help. That help was critical for Dad. So when his brilliance, personality, and work ethic moved him along the road to professional recognition and to financial security, realizing everyone's expectations, he never forgot that he had been given the chance to have a college education because of others' generosity. When Saul Fenster, then president of NJIT, called on my father with the idea of starting an honors college, Dad was intrigued. According to my mother, Dr. Fenster made a wonderful presentation to convince Dad that the college should bear Dad's name, a proposition at which he originally balked. However, Dad, a Renaissance man, had been feeling he wanted an intellectual pursuit outside of engineering. He was committed to the idea that those in the STEM world could and should be leaders in their communities and to society in general. He also believed fervently that everyone should be given the greatest opportunity to fill their potential, and he was adamant and unconditional about the value of an education. And he was enthusiastic and very excited about the chance to help NJIT expand and grow its reputation. So all these factors combined to lead Dad to help give birth to the Albert Dorman Honors College. He was very fortunate to have Dr. Joel Bloom as the Honors College's first dean. And you all know of how Dr. Bloom and his wife, Dr. Diane Bloom, built the Honors College over 15 years and more, leading to its ranking as a top 10 honors college nationally. The miles, hours, and heart the Blooms put into the Honors College and into NJIT were staggering. They have been the Dorman family's friends, as Joel mentioned, and we extend our love and gratitude for what they have done. And Dean Lewis Hamilton and President Tech Lim have been wonderful stewards of the Bloom's legacy and are themselves, as are so many others, making extraordinary contributions to the college's and NJIT's growth and recognition, and to the education of our scholars. The whole family thanks you. I can safely say that helping found and grow the college was, as Joel mentioned, one of the accomplishments that Dad was most proud of in his life. My parents' contribution and commitment to the college, both financial and physical, and their knowing they were helping so many young people achieve their potential, brought them enormous satisfaction. Important to them both, and especially to my father, was that the students who had financial assistance in attending college would and should give back, so other students could attend the school of their choice. It was his fervent belief that the meaning of life lay largely in what a person could do to make a positive impact on the world. It was Dad's ardent belief that NJIT could and should reach higher, and that its students, and especially its alumni, were the foundation of that effort. I can't think of a greater tribute to Dad than an investment, large or small, to help students pursue their goals and to help NJIT to reach higher. As both my parents knew, there are fewer things in life more satisfying to the soul than knowing that you have helped another. Maya Angelou expressed it well when she said that, among its other benefits, giving liberates the soul of the giver. I hope you all have many occasions and reasons to liberate your souls, including by giving to the university, which has done so much for you. Thank you all for your many contributions to NJIT and for honoring Albert Dorman.
Laura, I'm going to ask you to come back up on the stage here. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for those inspiring words. If I may ask President and First Lady Lim and President Emeritus Bloom and Dr. Diane Bloom to join us on stage also. We have a special memento which should be to share here. Oh, it's approaching. Oh, am I right? Okay, good. Thank you for that. Whoops. This is yes, yes. So, for those of you who can't see, this is a copy of Al's photo and from the yearbook and the copy of the yearbook for which he was editor-in-chief. So thank you, Laura.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Laura. Thank you to the Dorman family. Eliza quoted that speech extensively. I have read that speech multiple times, or his letter there in the nucleus. It's really amazing to imagine an 18-year-old with that kind of insight, writing those words and really living those out for such an incredible, throughout his incredible life. To honor Al's legacy, we invite you now to join us for lunch following today's commemoration, where we continue to share memories and reflect on the ways in which Al touched our lives. For those alumni and friends who have asked about making a gift to the Dorman Honors College in memory of Al, I call your attention to the printed program, which provides a QR code for your convenience. Following lunch, you're invited to join the Albert Dorman Honors College community for a colloquium in Al's honor entitled Albert Dorman and Leadership. The colloquium begins at 2:30 here in the campus center atrium, and we continue that series with 2 additional colloquia on Thursday and Friday. And so the next one is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. in the Agile Strategy Lab on the future of civil engineering and architecture. The one this afternoon is featuring Dick Sweeney here, Bob Hillier, as well as Jiraj Shah and Sri Ganasetti here as well to talk about leadership in the college. Tomorrow we'll have honors alumni talking about civil engineering and architecture and the future of it, both architect and civil engineering alumni. As well as on Friday, we're facilitating a virtual colloquium, which you can join remotely if you'd like, on Engineering Disney, which begins at 11:30. So again, I thank you for joining us in celebrating our friend and our great leader and inspirer, Al Dorman. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and I hope to see you at the colloquium here at 2:30. So thank you.
I asked Barbara if she could get it tuned beforehand, even though I know they were going to be moving it, so I would have changed it to you guys Monday. She wasn't able to. So
Yeah, because it's like, when I get the tune, it's like $90 an hour. Yeah.
You have a guy used to come and tune it?
every single semester I come around and I bust everyone until they manage to get all the pianos tuned. It's just this semester they haven't been able to.
Yeah, that's true. This semester they haven't, nobody haven't seen anybody come and really tune.
All right, you can start playing.
Ladies and gentlemen, at your leisure, lunch is available over here. Thank you.